Hello, all. Sorry about that technical difficulty we have, but here we go. We present Claudia Gomez-Villeneuve of, um, she is the president at Women in Engineering Summit Limited, and she'll be telling us more about the 30 by 30 initiative. Claudia, please, the show is
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you so much, Arturo, and welcome everyone to the LRVS 22, the Lubrication Reliability Virtual Summit 2022. It is my honor to be presenting this topic. This has been our business for the last 5 years to run the Women in Engineering Summit in Canada. And we have lessons to learn to share with you for your efforts on diversity in your organizations. The topic of diversity in engineering is critical because Canada and United States, we need to increase the number of women in engineering and technology and science because we are on a technological race with other countries. So we're going to learn about the 30 by 30 initiative, which is the initiative by Engineers Canada. It's a national initiative, which is the inspiration for our work. I will tell you about how we became the business. I'll tell you the history of the last 5 years of the summit. And finally, we'll discuss the lessons learned from talking to hundreds of people, almost 1,000 people over the last 5 years on how to solve this diversity issue in our companies. So I will be the presenter today. Marta Vega Smith is my director. I took the turn today to make the presentation, but the two of us are working closely to host the next Women in Engineering Summit, which is in June 2nd, 2023. The lessons, I'm going to give you a taste of it now, but I'm going to talk more about the lessons at the end. These are the three main things that have made a difference in organizations across the world that want to increase the number of women that are in engineering. Again, every time I say engineering, imagine STEM, science, technology, mathematics, research. So here are the three lessons after going through all our data. Number one, flexible work opportunities. So this is the timing of work, how people do their work, and we need more variety on how people can do their work. Number two, enforce harassment work policies. This is another thing that is driving a lot of women away from engineering, is the culture. The culture is probably suitable for one gender, but not for females or for any other gender other than male and female. So we need more enforcement of those policies. They exist, they're in place. It's actually the law in many countries, but they're not really enforced. So it doesn't have as much power as it should. The third lesson is support to obtain their EIT and P.Eng. These are specific professional licenses for engineers. EIT is engineering training, and P.Eng is professional engineer. Whatever other profession, science, mathematics, research, technology, they would have their own designations, but these require support from not only the supervisor, but the whole organization. We'll talk more about why there's not enough support currently. The origin, well, in 2016, something interesting happened in the province of Canada that I live in. The number one product was oil, and the price of oil collapsed. The price pretty much collapsed. It actually collapsed in 2014, but by 2016, a lot of people had lost their jobs in oil and gas. And at that time, there's all the effort of diversity over the last 25 years came crashing down because the majority of people let go in jobs were actually the diversity, members. So that was a huge shift, And we felt, the committee organizing the Women in Engineering Summit, we felt that we had to do something. So we took initiative by learning about the 30 by 30 initiative by Engineers Canada, and we took it as our goal. And the 30 by 30 initiative is that by the year 2030, 30% of newly licensed engineers, P.Engs, would identify as female. So the goal was for us to find solutions, to share the solutions, not only with individuals, but also with companies on how to ensure that we could retain, not just attract this talent, but also retain the talent in the organization. The organization itself, us as a committee, we have been working on this for many years now. We host annual summits. We encourage women to get their professional designation, and we support organizations to expand their efforts in attracting and retaining that talent. So we totally support the 30 by 30 initiative. It's not that the number matters as much as we have a target. I know people sometimes don't like targets because they assume that people that are underqualified will be hired just to make up the number. The reality is that we have a lot of people that are qualified and they're still not getting access to those jobs. So by having a target, it measures success of whatever initiative your company is executing. So this is a view at the numbers today. In the country of Canada, the percent of females who are professionally licensed in engineering and geoscience, because it's actually, that number is combined, engineering and geoscience, is 20.6%, meaning that of the whole population of engineers and geoscientists in Canada, 20.6% identify as female, and they are professionally licensed. The numbers on every province are on the image. And some organizations or some provinces are doing a better job than others. But overall, every province is increasing those numbers. From paying attention to the numbers, it actually has made a huge difference. I'm not going to go through all the details of the slides because we lost a little bit of time with the technical issues. But here are the names of some of the keynotes that we had. So here are them. People from all over Canada. I think one of them was in the US, and one was in Panama, actually, to bring solutions. How can we attract and retain female talent in engineering? The attendance of the event has skyrocketed, especially when we went virtual. When we went virtual due to the COVID pandemic, the number of people that attended the summit increased. It was dramatic because now they were logging in from other countries and other provinces and other continents. So the attendance has been amazing. In the city of Edmonton, which was the location of the very first Women in Engineering Summit, the city of Edmonton, the mayor of Edmonton, signed a proclamation making September 14, 2018, Women in Engineering Day in Edmonton. So that was the nicest thing that the city of Edmonton could have done to get us started on our mission. To summarize 5 years of presentations, I put together the main topics. I'm not going to read them all, but things that make a difference in the attraction and retention of female talent in engineering, technology, science, mathematics, construction, are listed on the screen. Some of the ones that apply to me personally, how to apply for a promotion, how to have courage at work when you are the only woman in the room, how to have parental leave and return to work strategies, because we still are the ones that are giving birth, so we have to take some time off, but coming back to work, that's an interesting transition. What else is in here? Unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is an interesting one because people may be restricting the progression of women in engineering, and all the other careers are similar, mostly male dominated, for reasons that they're not even aware of. So that's why they call it unconscious bias. They're not picking those people for promotions. They're not giving them salary raises. They're not giving them the big projects. They're not even willing to pay for their P.Eng, the cost of the professional licensing. And they don't even realize that is their bias, that they don't feel that these are good candidates, but coincidentally, they're all the same gender. What else do we have in the summit? The 30 by 30 panel and the EDI panel. These two panels, we invite experts to come and join the panel and talk about, first of all, the 30 by 30. How close are we? And the number is still increasing. Every year is increasing in Canada, so that's a good sign. And the EDI panel is about equity, diversity, and inclusion. Besides the initiatives to get that 30 by 30 achieved, what are we doing to make workplaces more friendly to any kind of gender, any kind of culture? These are valuable lessons that companies can adopt. The impact of WES. We have shared some of the feedback that attendees have left with us. Some of these people are students in engineering, some of them are professional engineers, some of them are directors of engineering, and others are owners of engineering organizations. And these feedback gives us a sense of that we're doing the right thing. It's not a difficult problem to solve, but it requires commitment, requires energy. The attendance also includes men. We actually welcome everyone. So sometimes the men in the audience share their feedback with us that they don't know how to start. How do I help my organization and the females in my office? So we are just thrilled that we keep getting this feedback every year. We actually had one of the attendees tell us that they come to the summit every year to recharge. I need a little bit more energy to survive another year in my career. So we are honored to be sharing these feedback, these comments, these testimonials with you. Now, the lessons learned. I always ask this question: are you ready to hear the solutions? Because not everyone is. Sometimes we know that there's a problem, but when we hear the solutions to the problem, we go, no, I don't want to do that. This is so outside of my comfort zone. No, thanks. I'd rather deal with the problem than actually apply the solutions. So hopefully you're ready, because here they come. Number one, flexible work opportunities. We have had tons of conversations with attendees and speakers and panelists about why does our profession in engineering, technology, science, construction, why does our profession have no flexibility on work? Now, with the pandemic, we learned that we can actually work from home. That's a huge change. And it's possible companies can still succeed with some of the roles that can be transferred online, staying online. So anything but in-house work, full-time work, 5 days a week work, 40 plus hours a week work, 52 weeks a year work would be nice. Anything but. We are not in the 50s anymore, 1950s. We should be creative. We should reverse engineer these schedules that we make for job roles. And as we go along the way, not just benefit women, but also benefit men. The research has shown that the men are willing to work flexible work hours if they are not going to get punished for it, meaning career delays, career blocks, or they're not going to be considered for promotions. So they want it. It's just that they don't think the organization will satisfy that and protect them in their career. Lesson number 2, enforce work policies regarding harassment. So to protect women in engineering from discrimination and harassment, and the policies apply to any gender. It doesn't have to be just women. It applies to everyone. The policies are there, the laws are there. We just have to enforce them. And along the way, not only are we helping women, men, but also minorities. It's incredible. There's so many areas of society that are outside of men, women that we should be supporting, but we need to enforce them, and that might require firing the bad apples. Every organization has them, and they somehow get protected, but in the process, they are alienating the whole diversity initiative, because if you don't get rid of them, um, the problem will never get solved. Lesson number 3: support women employees with engineering degrees to pursue their formal engineering training designation and professional engineer designation with the regulator. There is a bias, conscious or unconscious, that is preventing women in engineering, which is a male dominated industry, from achieving promotions and salary raises and becoming part of management, senior leadership. And we have noticed that there's this daily behavior where female engineers who have the exact same degree as male engineers are given non-technical roles. If you are given non-technical roles in the first 4 years of your brand new engineering career, you are less likely to achieve the P.Eng designation, because to become a professional engineer, you have to submit evidence that your work has required you to do technical work as well as management work, as well as leadership work. And because of this conscious or unconscious bias, they don't get those jobs. So this is the question for your CEO. If you have a chance to talk to your CEO or your director of HR or your vice president of human resources and ask them, can we fix this? Can our organization solve the problem of diversity by applying one or two or all three of these solutions? They are going to ask you, where did you come up with these solutions? And you can say, well, this is not just the product of research over the last 20 years in engineering diversity, but also the lessons learned from the Women in Engineering Summit. We actually have done it. We have been there for the last 5 years, and the lessons are repeating over and over and over. Companies that manage to retain, not just attract, but to retain happy female engineers are doing these 3 things, because the solutions are there. It's just that it requires energy and it requires effort, but the results will be incredible. The 30 by 30 initiative is also applied on a provincial level. So APEGA, the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Alberta, they actually have done a study on diversity. They spent 3 years preparing the wage project report, and they found very similar solutions to what we found. So there is a general infographic on what results they got from their report. And there's instructions for the individual, what the individual should do, so the women, instructions for the leader of the organization, what the management should be doing, and what the whole organization, the entire structure, topped by the CEO, should be doing to increase diversity in engineering and technology and mathematics and construction and science. So the work is not just the little people, the work has to be done at the top as well. When we achieve 30 by 30, from the analysis on statistics and mathematics, 30% of anything is considered a tipping point. So we need the 30%. It's actually a mathematical fact that when something achieves 30% concentration, it becomes a permanent change. So we're not going to go back to 25%, 20%, 18%. No. Once you get to 30, it stays at 30 or more. So that's why we're trying to achieve this 30 by 30. To summarize, and I think we're going to have a few minutes for very quick Q&A. This is what I showed you today: how West became a business, the 5 years of history of running the summit, and the 3 lessons learned on progressing EDI and the 30 by 30 initiative by Engineers Canada. Our event is committed to run until 2030 because we're going to achieve the number, we're going to exceed that number, and then Canada will be in a better place to compete, not only the business level, but the technical level with any other country in the world. So my name is Claudia Gomez-Villeneuve. Thank you so much for attending this. And Arturo, back to you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. It was a beautiful presentation. We learned a lot. If we have any questions, I have to end the session now, but I'm sure we'll get back to anyone who has any questions relatively soon. Again, thank you very much, Claudia, for the presentation. It was wonderful, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.